even though he lost a run out of turn 2.
And a problem for Colin Smith. And also Simon Copping has had a spin on the exit of turn 2 as well. So one of our New South Wales State Championship competitors and one of our National Series competitors both in trouble on the outside track.
First time down. Oh, Ricciardo runs a little bit wide out of turn 10, gets it back together again. Randall next. Lacey putting the pressure on tomorrow. Just got a little bit of straight line squirt on him, but he looks quick around the corners and under the brakes. Vasi that spin for Simon Copping. It is now Grant Dorman, who is the best of the New South Wales state runners, and a big lock-up for Tomasi into turn 2. Joe Sed's gone around in the clear. Turn 10. Turns around and gets it going again. Assuming that it is. Down into turn 1 and 2, just sounds so good. At the moment it has a handle on Randall as they head up to the top of the hill again. Basta, followed by Lisa Montgomery in the third. Lining up behind Canberras, I think. Datsun. Just blasted past. Had to feel sorry for Trevor Spiteri. They were going to run this race and they finished second in the race before, and they had to do that fast pit stop, and unfortunately haven't been able to affect it in time, or they've had a drama, so they haven't gone on with it. Slowing car there, I just noticed in the background, falling back down through the field. Just about to be thumped by a couple of others as well. That's the McMurdo Commodore there. Sorry, it's actually the L Commodore that you're Bradford that we're watching at the moment. So Grant Dorman in 7th position, highest placed of the New South Wales State Championship competitors. Shane Bradford holding down 8th position at the moment in that beautiful Hot Wheels liveried Camaro. Not actually Hot Wheels sponsorship as such. Oh, and he's just spun it out of turn 2. He was very hard and late under brakes going into the corner. You could see puffs of tyre smoke coming off it as he braked. He's got going one with all sorts of dramas, and then in his own admission said that he stuffed up when things was actually going all right. So our race leaders now having to work their way through laps traffic. Theo Camburis brings that VL Commodore into the pits. And Tom Randall took 0.6 per second out of Tony Ricciardello that time around as a result of Ricciardello being balked up by that lap traffic. Yeah, Tony Ricciardello has the fastest lap of the race at 57.12 or something by the look of it, so it's just outside the lap record for this
the big screens. The Sky Sands Chev-powered Saab. Sky Sands also backing the series this year through Rusty French, of course, who's part owner of Tickford Racing.
And also backing Thomas Randall's Dunlop Super 2 Series campaign.
Yeah, he's got a finger in a lot of pies at the moment. Yellow negotiating more traffic and more lap traffic coming up as he goes to put a lap on the 300Z. Randall follows him through. Lacey in third spot, puts a lap on Sed. Marcy fourth.
Oh, Tom Randall getting balked up by the Datsun at the top of the hill.
Yeah, I don't think they've got much choice. They're not used to being lapped so quickly, some of these state runners.
Not only that, but in certain sections of the circuit, it's not that easy for them to get out of the way.
Indeed not. We've just seen a bit of a battle going on between the two Trans Am spec cars in the field. That's Bradford, the number 68 Chev Camaro, and Reed in the 25 Ford Mustang. And Tomasi now ahead of Lacey, so we didn't see that move happen. But can Lacey get into two cars? The Hancooks that are on Tomasi's car. We know that car's quick in a straight line anyway. And Lacey on the Kumos, which gave him a little bit better speed early in the race.
No, Lacey is still ahead of Tomasi. Tomasi's actually fallen back into the clutches of
that's
7.
Yeah, my mistake. Yep.
In the Camaro.
Yep.
Easy to get those two cars mixed up because they do look very similar.
Yeah, and Tomasi's never had a good time here at Wakefield Park. I remember the last time we came here, it had all sorts of dramas. Both he and his dad Daniel, very closely liveried cars, both white and black.
Daniel not running this weekend, but Stephen Tomasi picked up his first national Formula Ford race victory at Tailem Bend in the previous round.
Yeah, race 2 down there, first race win. Daniel didn't run that meeting either. They're concentrating on the one car at the moment.
And the other point that we should make is that in the National Series, the races get progressively more valuable as you go through the weekend. So this race is worth 30 points. Race 2 is worth 45, and then race 3 is worth 60 points.
That's to the race winner, of course. Still not much between first and second. Randall has closed that gap on the race leader. They're coming up to the complete lap 9.
There, because he would have been right in this mix as well between these two. It's only 9/10 of a second, so once again, Thomas Randall was a bit quicker than Tony Ricciardello that time through. A 58.0 for Ricciardello compared to a 57.7 for Thomas Randall. 0.9 of a second the difference between the two of them.
Of course, Ricciardello had a year off last year, had hand surgery and gave the car a bit of a surgery overhaul as well.
Oh, and he's catching Simon Copping at an awkward time down the inside. But Thomas Randall right on the rear bumper of the Alfa Romeo. That works to the disadvantage of Tony Ricciardello because they caught that car of Simon Copping at the worst possible position on the racetrack. It's very a lot of space that he could go to sidestep those two race leaders as they came through.
Especially with the speed difference between the cars too. You've got to manage that. You've got to be able to see that or have someone telling you that there is someone coming because you don't often see them until they're right on you. But out of the corners, Ricciardello's getting the power down better. It's just towards the end of the straight where Randall and under brakes is making up that gap. And lap traffic is sort of playing a little bit in each.
And again, Ricciardello gets held up by one of the marked cars this time. And it always works, or not always, but very often it works to the disadvantage of the race leader, doesn't it? Because
he's a trailblazer.
That's correct. There's likely to be other faster cars coming through as well.
And you can see down there how tight it is down at turn 10 on the cushion. They come through there, and now they're getting amongst faster cars. The likes of Scott Reed is the next one up the road, and he wisely sees them coming now. He's actually in between the two of them, so that's affected Randall, and Randall lost a bit out of that, out of turn 2, and of course they got another car right up there in front of them, so it's a traffic management job for these guys at the moment. And look, there is another instance where that lap traffic has worked in favour of Randall, because he's pulled right back up on the back of Ricciardello. Is he going to have a shot down the inside?
Hello will be on the inside for the next corner, turn 9. Randall hangs tough around the outside, and he will go through to take the lead of the race with just over 3 laps remaining. Ricciardello fights back on the outside into turn 10.
He goes down the inside, gets it back off him. A little bit of a rub coming out of that corner. Ricciardello gets it back. Randall has to get back in behind him. It's on. Young with only a couple of laps left to go. So Tony doesn't want to give this one up.
And he's locked it up at turn 2. Randall back up the inside, heading up the hill. 3 changes for the lead within the space of less than a lap. Wow.
There are other cars racing here, folks, but we're not worried about them at the moment. It's all happening up the front on laps to go. And they're coming up on the back of Joe Said in the Fiat. Rotary powered, and he hasn't left a lot of room, but that's not his fault. And there goes Ricciardello around the outside now. Where can he line him up? More lap traffic ahead of them that can play out in anyone's hands.
Look at Ricciardello under brakes. He makes up massive ground on Randall, who again is going to get balked by lap traffic. Randall moves it to the inside. I reckon Ricciardello does have a bit of a straight line speed advantage. You can see it there in the Alfa Romeo. He closes in on the back of Thomas Randall. We've got 2 laps to go. What a thrilling race this has turned into between these two front runners. We've seen Ricciardello gives Randall a nudge heading up into turn 3.
Tries to go around the outside, cut back on down the hill now. Negotiate the Datsun without too many dramas. Now here we come down to the fishhook again. And if anything, Randall's actually got a little bit of breathing space, if you want to call 2 car lengths breathing space. Out of that corner now, turn 9 down the straight, and I think Ricciardello might be surrendering this one.
Oh, I wouldn't speak too soon, Gary. There's still more laps traffic that they're going to have to negotiate. And Thomas Randall a bit wide at turn 10. I was trying to make the point before that I reckon Ricciardello's advantage is in a straight line. Randall is a bit stronger through the more technical parts of the circuit. But between the two of them, they have put on an absolute thriller motor race for us this afternoon.
Yeah, if they catch these cars up in the last little bit, it might be on again, but I think
those 3 laps cars again at the worst possible time. He ducks to the inside of Shane Bradford heading down into the fishhook. He'll have to negotiate his way past the Michael Robinson, Monaro, and also the Grant Dillman Falcon as well through turn number 9, and he gets balked. Thomas Randall, can he slip up the inside of Robinson? He does on the run into turn number 10. Robinson gives him just enough room to sneak through on the inside. Checkered flag at the ready this time around. Ricciardello, an excellent exit from turn number 10. They're going to be nose to tail across the finish line. And in an absolute crack of sports now race here at Wakefield Park for the opener, it's Thomas Randall who emerges on top. What a thriller.
It was a good race, and I dare say that Tony might have let him take it in the last couple of laps. Tyre life is something you've got to manage. Chetton come through the last corner behind Steve Tomasi as Steve Lacey takes third spot. The next 2 across the line, of course, will be Tomasi and Birrell Chetton. Then we look back to Shane Woodman in the BMW, Grant Dillman, Michael Robertson a lap down. Who would have thought that the likes of Michael Robertson and Shane Bradford would finish a lap down? That's the pace of these two front runners. They've just been extraordinary. Extraordinary race, extraordinary result. 2 more tomorrow. Looking forward to those.
And incidentally, in terms of the state championship competitors, Grant Dillman, the winner there. Scott Reid was second. But Stephen Lacey, I think, gets state championship points as well, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lacey would be first.
True.
State. He's doing both. So a cracker race for the opening.
That was vintage Ricky Adello versus Hossack stuff, wasn't it, between those two?
A little bit of touch and rub as well, just to let your opponent know you're there, and no one's going to be too phased or put off by that fact. What a cracking race we had.
All right, so we've got a bit of a recovery mission to retrieve the Colin Smith Monaro from the infield. On the live stream, we're going to duck off for a break. For those of you at the track, we've got the Formula race cars out on the circuit next for their opening race of the weekend.
very congested in behind. Lacey gets ahead of Tomasi, and Randall gets around the outside of Riccadello, so up the back straight, but Riccadello's got power. Goes straight to the front, even though he lost the run out of turn 2.
And a problem for Colin Smith. And also Simon Copping has had a spin on the exit of turn 2 as well. So one of our New South Wales State Championship competitors and one of our National Series competitors both in trouble on the outer rack.
First time down. Oh, Riccadello race. Lacey putting the pressure on in the Camaro. Just got a little bit of straight line squirt on him, but he looks quick around the corners and under the brakes. Tomasi forward.
That spin for Simon Copping. It is now Grant Dorman, who is the best of the New South Wales state runners, and a big lock-up for Tomasi into turn 2.
Joe Sed's gone around in the Fiat. Now turn it is.
You are trackside at Wakefield Park Raceway for round 3. Racing races remaining on the program this afternoon. Race cars coming out onto the track. They're open racing the weekend. And Gary O'Brien's state level Formula Race Car Series, a category that's grown in recent years with the number of the old F3 cars making their way into the
turn 1 and 2, but other than that, most sounds so good. The rest of them are, it has one handle on Randall version of a Dallara or another. There is a 311 out there.
So Nathan got John pole position in the F307. The F311 of Spike Goddard lines up out of grid position number 2. Spike Goddard, a driver who's had experience racing open wheels internationally, raced in the British and the European Formula 3 Championships. Also Simon Copping, the fourth, lining up behind Canberra, I think. That's it.
Had to feel sorry for Trevin Spiteri. They were going to run this race and they finished second in the race before, and they had to do that fast pit stop, and unfortunately haven't been on with it. Slowing car there, I just noticed in the background, falling back down through the field. About to be jumped by a couple of others as well.
That's the McMurdo Commodore there. Alright, sorry, it's actually the L Commodore that you're referring to there, Gary. Yep. So this is Grant Dorman and Shane Bradford that we're watching at the moment. So Grant Dorman in 7th position, highest placed of the New South Wales State Championship competitors. Shane Bradford, Wales liveried Camaro, not actually Hot Wheels sponsorship as such.
Oh, and he's just spun it out of turn 2. He was very hard and late under brakes going into the corner. You could see puffs of tyre smoke coming off it as he braked. He's got going again, but he's dropped some positions. Had a shocking run at round 1 with all sorts of dramas, and then in his own admission said that he stuffed up when things was actually going all right.
So our race leaders now having to work their way through laps of traffic. Theo Camburis brings that VL Commodore into the pits. And Tom Randall took 0.6 per second out of Tony Rick
Ricciardello that time around as a result of Ricciardello being balked up by that lapped traffic.
2 or something by the look of it, so it's just outside the lap record for this class. And you can see the Sky Sands, if you're watching the big screens, the Sky Sands Chev-powered Saab. Sky Sands also tackling the series this year through Rusty French, of course, who's part owner of Tickford Racing.
And also backing Thomas Randall's Dunlop Super 2 Series campaign.
Yeah, he's got a finger in a lot of pies at the moment. Ricciardello negotiating more traffic as he comes down to complete lap 6. And more lap traffic coming up as he goes to put a lap on the third spot, puts a lap on set. Tomasi 4th.
Oh, Tom Randall getting balked up by the Datsun at the top of the hill.
Yeah, I don't think they've got much choice. They're not used to being up so quickly, some of these state runners.
Not only that, but in certain sections of the circuit, it's not that easy for them to get out of the way.
Indeed not. We've just seen a bit of a battle going on between the two Trans Am spec cars in the field. That's Bradford, the number 68 Chev Camaro, and Reed in the 25 Ford Mustang. And Tomasi now ahead of Lacey, so we didn't see that move happen. But between the two cars, the Hancooks that are on Tomasi's car, we know that car's quick in a straight line anyway. And Lacey on the Kumos, which gave him a little bit better.
Clutches of
Oh, that's
Sedan.
Yeah, my mistake. Yep.
In the Camaro.
Yep.
Yep. Easy to get those two cars mixed up because they do look very similar.
Yeah, and Tomasi's never had a good time here at Wakefield Park. I remember the last time we came here at All Sorts of Dramas. Both he and his dad Daniel, very closely liveried cars, both white and black.
Daniel not running this weekend, but Stephen Tomasi picked up his first national Formula Ford race victory at Tailem Bend in the previous round.
Yeah, race 2 down there, first race win. Daniel didn't run that meeting either. They're concentrating on the one car at the moment.
And the other point that we should make is that in the National Series, the races get progressively more valuable as you go through the weekend. So this race is worth 30 points, race 2 is worth 45, and then race 3 is worth 60 points.
That's to the race winner, of course. Still not much between first and second. Randall has closed that gap on the race leader. They're coming up to complete lap 9. 6 to go at the end of this.
Bit of a shame that Jack Perkins is not out there because he would have been right in this mix as well between these two. It's only 9/10 of a second, so once again, Thomas Randall was a bit quicker than Tony Ricciardello that time through. 58.9 of a second, the difference between the two of them.
Of course, Ricciardello had a year off last year, had hand surgery and gave the car a bit of a surgery overhaul as well.
Oh, and he's catching Simon Copping at an awkward time down the inside. But Thomas Randall right on the rear bumper of the Alfa Romeo. That works to the disadvantage of Tony Ricciardello because they caught that car of Simon Copping at the worst possible position on the racetrack. It's very difficult for lapped cars to get out of the way heading down the hill. Simon Copping didn't have a lot of space that he could go to sidestep those two race leaders as they came through.
Especially with the speed difference between the cars too. You've got to manage that. You've got to be able to see that, or have someone telling you that there is someone coming. Corners, Ricciardello is getting the power down better. It's just towards the end of the straight where Randall and under brakes is making up that gap. And lap traffic is sort of playing a little bit in each.
And again, Ricky Dello gets held up by one of the marked cars this time. And it always works, or not always, but very often it works to the disadvantage of the race leader, doesn't it? Because
he's the trailblazer.
That's correct, yeah. Once the race leader goes through, the cars that are being lapped become a bit more...
And now they're getting amongst faster cars. The likes of Scott Reed is the next one up the road, and he wisely sees them coming now. He's actually in between the two of them, so that's affected Randall, and Randall lost a bit out of turn 2, and of course they got another car right up there in front of them, so it's a traffic management job for these guys at the moment. And look, there is another instance where that lap traffic has worked in favour of Randall, because he's pulled right back up on the back of Ricciardello. Is he going to have a shot down the inside? Oh. They don't get closer. I think he might have given him a little push there.
And up the inside, side by side through the fish hook. Ricciardello will be on the inside for the next corner, turn 9. Randall hangs tough around the outside, and he will go through to take the lead of the race with just over 3 laps remaining. Ricciardello fights back on the outside into turn 10.
He goes down the inside, gets it back off him. A little bit of a rub coming out of that corner. Ricciardello gets it back. Randall has to get back in behind him. It's on for young Noel with only a couple of laps left to go. So Tony doesn't want to give this one up.
And he's locked it up at turn 2. Randall back up the inside, heading up the hill. 2 changes, 3 changes for the lead within the space of less than a lap. Wow.
There are other cars racing here, folks, but we're not to lap some fast cars as well. It's not over. We've got 2.5 odd laps to go, and they're coming up on the back of Joe Sed in the Fiat. Rotary powered, and he hasn't left a lot of room, but that's not his fault. And there goes Ricciardello around the outside now. Where can he line him up? More lap traffic ahead of them. That can play out in anyone's hands.
Look at Ricciardello under brakes. He makes up massive ground on Randall, who again is going to get balked by laps traffic. Randall moves it to the inside. I reckon Ricciardello does have a bit of a straight line speed advantage. You can see it there in the Alfa Romeo. He closest turned into between these two front runners. We've seen Ricciardello gives Randall a nudge heading up into turn 3.
Tries to go around the outside, cut back on the inside at 4, and more lap traffic in front of them. Comes down the hill now. Goes down to Datsun without too many dramas. Now here we come down to the fish hook again, and if anything, Randall's actually got a little bit of breathing space, if you want to call 2 car lengths breathing space. Out of that corner now, turn 9 down the straight, and I think Ricciardello might be surrendering this one.
Going to have to negotiate, and Thomas Randall a bit wide at turn 10. I was trying to make the point before that I reckon Ricciardello's advantage is in a straight line. Randall is a bit stronger through the more technical parts of the circuit, but between the two of them, they have put on an absolute thriller motor race for us this afternoon.
Yeah, if they catch these cars up in the last little bit, it might be on again, but I think Tony's settling for second.
I wouldn't say that yet, Gary, because Thomas Randall's going to catch those 3 laps cars again at the worst possible time. He ducks to the inside of Shane Bradford heading down into the fish hook. He'll have to negotiate his way past the Michael Robinson, Monaro, and also the Grant Dillman Falcon as well. Through turn number 9, and he gets balked, Thomas Randall. Can he sweep up the inside of Robinson? He does on the run into turn number 10. Just. Robinson gives him just enough room to sneak through on the inside. Checkered flag at the ready this time around. Ricciardello, an excellent exit from Cracker Sportsman race here at Wakefield Park for the opener. It's Thomas Randall who emerges on top. What a thriller.
It was a good race, and I dare say that Tony might have let him take it in the last couple of laps. Tyre life is something you've got to manage because you've got 2 more races to go over the weekend. watching Beryl Chetton come through the last corner behind Steve Tomasi as Steve Lacey takes third spot. The next two across the line, of course, will be
How would you like to double your garage space and work on your cars easily? Well, bring in your own hero with a Lift King hoist. Easy to install models in 1, 2 and 4 post styles. Check the very nifty Spider 2500 portable mini scissor lift. Hero hoists are either Oz certifiability. I regularly stand under my Lift King, so when you need a bit of a lift, why don't you go stand under yours?
Little M Apparel for all your alteration and dressmaking needs.
On pole position, the green flag waves, and it's a good start for Jarvis. He will slot ahead of Hugh McAllister into the lead. Russell Wright pokes his nose down on the inside of McAllister, but has to tuck back in behind. Chad Cotton moves up into position number 4, and then it's Craig Harris in 5th position. Cameron Sendall and Greg Williams picks up that position.
Already Jarvis has stretched that margin out in front. The playing continues and at a lower rate. Lewis back out on the track, so he will go on to finish this one.
But checkered flag's going to come out this time around, and making it 3 wins from 3 races in the Mazda RX-8 Cup Series. Congratulations I think that might have been the Andrew Roberts car that was starting from last. Does not manage to get away off the start line. Shields leads the way ahead of Jones. The Buddhas moves up into... No, the Buddhas has actually lost the spot. Hasn't Jarrett Ruff's got an excellent start. Back behind. Oh, and we've got contacts. That's Courtney Prince and Nathan Hearn coming together at turn number 1. What it's designed to do and dissipate the energy with the wheels. And Wishbone's collapsing as they're supposed to. Here comes Hunter McElrain though. Pole position and 2 wins. The perfect score for him so far to kickstart the 2018 Australian Formula 4 Championship. Race number 4 underway for the legend cars, and it is James Birch who slots into the lead.
Horse back to third behind Horrigan into turning to 1. Jagger up to 4 ahead of car number 2. That's Josh Horrigan. So he's made a reasonably good start as well, and Horrigan goes down the
early lead. A few quick cars coming through a bit further back in the pack. Watch out.
From the number 14 McGowan from CHE Racing Team in Southern Star Track Centre. Join me for a lap around Wakefield Park in the Formula 3. Out through turn 1, just like kink. Down back to your gears for turn 2. Make sure you get a good exit for turn 3, which is a fast left-hander. You have to carry lots of speed. Hold third gear through here. Stay to the left. Go down back for second. Be sure to keep the car alive through turn 4 over the top of the hill into turn 5. Now the exit into 6. Full third gear. Slight lift to get the nose of the car in and then back on the throttle. Setting up for the fish hook. So this is a tight left-hander. Make sure you nail the apex. Run about 3/4 track exit. Back on the throttle. Quick lift for turn 9. Back on the throttle. All about setting yourself up for turn 10. So it's quite a late apex there to finish your lap at Wakefield Park. Welcome to round 3 of the Australian Formula 4 Championship, my home track, Wakefield Park.
would you like to double your garage space and work on your cars easily? Well, bring in your own hero with a Lift King hoist. Easy to install models in 1, 2 and 4 post styles. Check the very nifty Spider 2500 portable mini scissor lift. Hero hoists are either Oz certified or carry the Euro CE, your guarantee of quality construction and reliability. I regularly stand under my Lift King, so when you need a bit of a lift, why don't you go stand under yours?
Little M Apparel for all your alteration and dressmaking needs.
Winner on pole position, the green flag waves, and it's a good start for Jarvis. He will slot ahead of Hugh McAllister into the lead. Russell Wright pokes his nose down on the inside of McAllister, but has to tuck back in behind. Chad Cotton moves up into position number 4, and then it's Craig Harris in 5th position. Cameron Sendall and Greg Willis going side by side on the run down into turn number 3. It's Sendall who picks up that position.
Already Jarvis has stretched that margin out in front. Continues and at a lower rate. Lewis.
The checkered flag's going to come out this time around and making it 3 wins from 3 races in the Mazda RX-8 Cup Series. Congratulations. I think that might have been the Andrew Roberts car that was starting from last. Has not managed to get away off the start line. Shields leading away ahead of Jones. The Bootis moves up into... No, the Bootis has actually lost a spot, hasn't he? Jarrett Ruff's got an excellent start.
Jarrett Ruff, of course, came from Prototype Series, had a reasonably good...
Of course, he's fallen back behind.
Oh,
And we've got contacts. That's Courtney Prince and Nathan Hearn coming together at turn number 1. What it's designed to do is dissipate the energy from the wheels. The wishbones collapsing as they're supposed to. Here comes Hunter McElray. That's a kickstart. 28th Australian Formula 4 Championship. Race number 4 underway for the Legend cars. And it is Max slot into the lead.
horse back to 3rd behind Horrigan in the turn into 1. Dagger up to 4 ahead of car number 2. That's Josh Horrigan. So he's made a reasonably good start as well. And Horrigan goes down the inside of Dagger in turn 3, and he's been followed.
X5 who hits the early lead. A few quick cars coming through a bit further back in the pack. Watch out.
SR Truck Centre. Join me for a lap around Wakefield Park in the Formula Ford. Here we are, coming down the main straight of Wakefield, tucked into the wall, flat out through turn 1, just like pink, down back to your gears for turn 2. Make sure you get a good exit for turn 3, which is a fast left nasal left. Go down back to second. Be sure to keep the car alive, coming through turn 4 over the top of the hill into turn 5. Now the exit into 6, pull third gear. Slight lift to get the nose of the car in and then back on the throttle. Setting up for the fishhook. So this is a tight left-hander. Make sure to nail the apex. Run about 3/4 track exit. Back on the throttle. Quick lift for turn 9. Back on the throttle. All about setting yourself up for turn 10. So pulling 4th gear. Back down 3rd, 2nd. Turning in, nailing the apex. Quite a late apex there. To finish your lap at Wakefield Park. Welcome to round 3 of the Australian Formula Ford Championship, my home track, Wakefield Park.
Welcome back on Blendline TV, right around the world on the live stream, to our final race for this afternoon's coverage of round 3 of the Cabs New South Wales Motor Racing Championships. Racing, it's Darren Barlow who will start on pole position. Mitchell Nielsen in the Radical SR3 RS on the front row of the grid as well. Then we go back to Paul Braco in position number 3. Position number 4, Darren Kurzok, also in a Radical SR3. Steve Champion in position number 5. Position number 6 on the grid will be occupied by Greg Kenny. And then we go back to the car of John Beck in position number 7. Unfortunately, that car had some dramas in the previous Radical SR race. Peter Hills, unfortunately, finished up second in race number 1, but a non-starter in races 2 and 3 due to those engine issues. So rolling start for the Super Sports, and 14 laps of victories in both of the races that we've had so far. So ready for the rolling start, lined up in side-by-side formation. And in the setting sun here at Wakefield Park, it's time to go racing for the Super Sports. Green flag waves. Darren Barlow jumps immediately into the lead, and Mitchell Nielsen moving up into second position. Contest on for third position, it's Kurzok who goes around the outside of Braco to move up into third spot at turn 2.
Have a great start from Barlow, aiming to get his 9th win this season in Super Sports out of 9 races. Challenge for anyone to beat at this stage. We thought Peter Hills might have been with a chance, but as we said, dramas cracked the engine block on the pressure galley. And pumped out for the day.
The one thing watching this race, Gary, had in the previous race, he didn't get a result to show for it. And in race number 1, he had that slow start and had to work his way back up through the field.
Indeed he did, and got up to third spot in the end, so you would expect a similar result from him in this race, provided he can keep it on the island. That's the important part.
It is the longest race of the day, this one, 14 laps, so plenty of time for him to make up positions. He's currently in 6th spot, just behind Steve Champion and Paul Braco. Mitchell Nielsen currently occupying position.
Good RS version. This version has the headlights on the front of it, plus some other enhancements which we spoke about earlier. The Steve Champion car comes through there. Barlow already out to a fairly formidable lead. Was 3.4 seconds at the end of the first lap. So he's gone a bit more now with 4. That's a mammoth gap. Just running away with these races at the moment.
So I'm interested to get your thoughts, Gary, about Super Sports and also the Australian Prototype Series, which is essentially the national level of this category, and the impending introduction of LMP3 cars. Do you think that will pave the way for us to see some longer distance prototype endurance racing events here in Australia?
Could well do. I don't see why not. It's the way for that category to go, and we need those cars here if we want to further categories. As we see Beck pick up on the spot.
Moves up to 4th position, gets down the inside of Paul Braco.
Because he's been racing in a Ligier LMP3 car in Asia, doing quite well with it, as well as Europe, and going back to Le since. Raced in the opening round of the Radical Australian Cup. Ben sharing the drive with Yasser Shaheen, and they had a win, but didn't make the pit stop you were supposed to make, so they took it off. But I guess that was second most important. Probably to test his endurance a bit behind the wheel, and probably knowing that they were going to do the whole series anyway was probably part of the reasoning to do that.
There are some Aussie drivers who've done racing in LMP3 cars as well. So
yeah, Neil Mustard.
Yep.
Has done it. Also,
Scott Andrews has done it.
Yep.
In Asia.
Yeah. And have had class victories in that Ligier.
There was another gentleman driver, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's got back at the wheel of his SR3. We said before, had some issues getting around the first lap of race 1 before fighting back to third. Unfortunately got caught on the curbing out of turn 2 with a spin. And for all intents and purposes, so it just stalled and was unable to take any further part. But he's now closing in on what is now effective battle for position to the other
Driver.
Exactly.
The wonders of modern technology to very quickly access information when you need it.
Google is your friend.
So Darren Barlow doing what we saw him do in races 1 and 2 and establishing an enormous lead over the rest of the field. 15 seconds and he's after 5 laps. So it's an average of 3 seconds that he's gaining over the rest of the field.
Like to see a couple more stores and possibly other makes in super sports take it up to the race centre.
Well, we used to have a lot of Wests that ran in this category as well, but they've gravitated more towards the national.
On the inside of the track, let's hope we can get that moving. Yes, he has. So we won't go on the safety car.
So
Yellow there.
So the Radicals in positions 2, 3 and 4 outright are all doing very similar lap times at the moment in the low 101 bracket.
And they're the 3 that we can see on our screens for those on the live stream. Possibly got back at the back of the quickest for those 3. Advantage Coppers, Radical, SR3 going around. 9 now on screen, that's position 3. Behind Schmitz, and that's first up car. As you can see, not much between those 3, particularly from the head-on shot. Great shot coming down into the last corner. So the cars coming at you can see when they pull out to try and pass each other. Another little battle going on behind them as well. They're actually quite close together. That's Braco and Champion. 80 and car 34.
And Champion looking down the inside, bit of a brake lock up for him at turn 2. As he thought about sending it down the inside, wasn't able to do so. Managed to bail out of that manoeuvre at the last minute before there was contact between the 2 Radicals.
Cars are very open wheeler in their field with their wings and their tyre setup. Park
And
with
who with?
James Winslow.
How was it?
Fast.
I can imagine. This battle is starting to intensify for positions 2, 3 and 4 because Nielsen is under pressure from Kurzok, and John Beck right in that battle as well. Fastest out of those cars that time round was John Beck, a 60.2 second lap time. The times are getting quicker. Of course, as the fuel burns down in these cars and they get lighter, we do see the lap times improve over the course for slightly longer race distance such as this one.
The track will start cooling off with those shadows, but more rubber down on the road sort of counters that. Second, third and fourth place cars are all faster than they have been previously.
As we do see a challenge for the lead here at turn number 10. Down the inside, Kurzok looking to make Nielsen having to move across to the challenge.
Runs wide down at turn 7. Holds the lead, he does. Just gives us another opportunity to get by with Beck closing in as well. Here's a good indication of them running down to turn 10. Not close enough on that occasion to do anything about it.
He was very lucky there not to lose the lead with that wide moment at the fishhook.
Yeah, the second spot.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the lead of that group. That's speaking of the lead, or the leader,
4 seconds.
Darren Barlow. He has,
forget.
Yeah, he has well and truly checked out from the rest of the field. In fact, he has lapped the car of Greg Kenning.
He's running in 7th spot. What will be 3 laps to go after this, so he won't catch this battle we're watching. But I don't think we can catch any more of them. He's a fair gap behind the rest of them. But he has dominated today as we watch this battle continue. Nielsen has withstood the first challenge to come from these two. The battle still goes on between Braco and Champion for 5th as well. Nothing between those two. Plays in a little bit. It's a gap there, no. Not close enough to do anything about it. And trails him out there. Nose to tail, as you can see there. Running down the straight. Nothing between the pair of them. With Champion right on the back of him as they went down under the brakes on the last occasion. These cars running so close that the car that can get out of the corner first obviously gets his power down just a fraction early, tends to get away, but then it has to run with slight gap increases and then reductions.
The other thing as well is because these cars are so heavily reliant on aero, when you start following another car closely, you get affected by the aero wash of the car in front.
Yeah,
it can take away the downforce.
Off the front of the cars.
Yep.
Great when you're on your own on a high-speed track. Not so much fun here. Got someone there, locks the brake. Champion does, trying to get close to him again out of turn 10.
And Darren Barlow set the fastest lap of the race last time through, 58.7. So, it was off the road once again goes the car of
Official. Then gets it back going again. They're not having a happy time of it, but it's all part of the learning experience.
So, last lap coming up for our race leader, Darren Barlow. All of our attention very much focused on this contest for 2nd, 3rd and 4th.
And the battle for 5th as well. It's been pretty tight. But here's our race leader, Darren Barlow. Suzuki Power under the back of that store race car. Very low profile. Very close to the ground. guys have had qualifying in 3 races today, 30-minute races.
Yeah,
Fairly
good field
lineup.
of cars for production sports as well.
Around the corner for the last time. Heading down towards the checkered flag. Darren Barlow, 3 from 3 this weekend. 3rd round for Super Sports State Championship here at Wakefield Park.
And gets the fastest lap on the last lap, just for good measure, 58.6.
Just to rub it in.
So let's see what happens in this contest for positions 2, 3 and 4. The answer to that question is that it will be Mitchell Nielsen who will prevail, and Will Hom and John Beck finishing up in at 4th position outright.
And here's the battle for 5th coming through the last corner. Masco and Rayco, I should say, and Champion, and they'll go down to the flag. Linus turns, so Rayco held off his challenger throughout. They finish in 5th and 6th position. Kenny will be in 7th. Unfortunately, Will's a non-starter once again.
So that completes the Super Sports round number 3 of their New South Wales Championship for 2018. And that just about concludes all of the live streaming action here on Glenline TV as well. But we will be back tomorrow, and we'll have production sports car action coming your way, along with 2 more races for, and also the New South Wales Production Touring Car Championship. Their 2 races will be appearing on our race program tomorrow as well. So for all of those of you tuning in on Glenline TV, from Gary O'Brien and Lachlan Mansell, it's goodbye for now. For those of you here at the track, we do still have 1 race left